Well, maybe I could do another video if you would actually get the green screen working properly. Look at it. I got faded white pixelation all in the back bottom right. Anyway, hello everyone. Today we're going to be working with some types of strings, and I think what we're going to do is actually take the first character of an actual string, capitalize that, and basically we'll be working with an array of strings. Alright, they'll all be lowercase. Then no, I know I'm upset. I know they'll all be lowercase, and then from there we're going to take the first character of each individual word in the string, place that into basically capitalize that, and then basically we'll be printing that out to the screen. Okay? All right, perfect. Yeah, I'll try to change the attitude, fix the screen. Okay, I actually have it up and running. I have a console log just to kind of make sure we can actually do a little test here. And in addition to that, you can see I already printed out the actual hello world, but let's just double check here. And actually, we already see that there, so let's get rid of that. All right, and then from there, we're going to need an actual string. So let's create an actual string. Let's say, we don't want that. Do we want the string to be repeated? All right, we'll just say let my string equal, and then let's actually add a whole bunch of lowercase words. So let's add the man was walking down the street. And what we're going to want to do here is we want to capitalize the first letter of each individual word. So in order to do that, first we're going to need to actually split this, hint, hint. So yeah, let's actually do that first. So let's say so basically we're going to need to do a couple of things first. All right, first, let's create, or actually turn, for better notes, turn this string into an array. All right, let's do that first. And how do we do that? We mentioned split, so let's go on and do that. So let's say let string letters or string words. Actually, how about string creating variable names is always the worst. So let's do string to array. There we go. Is going to equal what? Well, we're going to use my string, and then we're going to split that. And there's the correction. All right, we're going to split that, and we're going to split that based off of each individual space in the actual string. All right, so now let's console log this. Actually, let's console log my string. That way you can see exactly what we get, and then we'll console log the actual string to array. All right, so we should have two different things here. So let's just clear this, and let's run it, node index. All right, and so on the first line here, we have the man was walking down the street, which is the actual string from line 1. And then the next line, we have the actual split. We're using the split method, which is actually going to be placed on the actual string, and we're splitting that based off of every space. Okay, now if there was a comma in there and we wanted to split it based off of every comma, we can do something like that. But in this case, we're splitting everything and it's returning an actual array. So now that we have our actual array, we can then work with that. Now, let's see. So we have our array. We have, as I'm sitting here counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different words that are in there, and we want to do something with every single word. So in this case, we want to iterate over that array, and in order to iterate, we need to use some type of loop. Now we can use map. We can use basically like a for loop. So I do like to use standard for loops. So let's do that. So we'll say let I equal 0. So we'll initialize our loop there. And then we're going to do while I is less than what? Less than the contents of the array. And our array is all the contents basically has a length. So we can do length. And then we're going to increment I as well. And while we're doing that, we can actually log out everything in there. So basically, again, this is one of those, just a for loop to iterate through everything in the array. And just so you can see everything in the actual array, we can actually do string to array, and we'll use I, which will basically increment through each index through the actual array itself. So if we do this and I run that, now you can see we have the man was walking down the street, but it's each individual line, it's each individual index. So it's basically here, 2, 3, 4, so 0, in which arrays start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's perfect. So we're iterating through the actual array. Now what we're going to need to do is get the first character of each iteration. So how do we do that? So what we can do here, we'll comment this out because you're not going to need that. But what we can do is, let's let the first character, we'll say the first character equal, and since we're iterating through it already and we've seen what we would actually get, let's see if we can use, it's the first thing there, char at. So character at, and this is going to basically allow us to pick basically, I guess we can use an actual index here. So if we did like a character at 0, we would get the first letter. So down here we have the, all right? So the first letter in the would be a T, and that's at mark 0 or at position 0. If we wanted the H, in the, all right, we would then say at character 1. If we wanted the E, then we would want at character 2. That would only be for the first word of the. So we're going to get the first character. And now what we can do, let's also test that. We'll console log that out. First character. All right, and this will tell us, hey, do we have the actual first character? All right, so let's test that. Sometimes you got to do a bunch of testing when you're going through these types of iterations and parsing of different types of data. So let's run that and see what we get. All right, so now if you can see, the first time we logged that out, it was each individual word. All right, now we're still iterating through everything, but now it's only giving us the first character, which is the first letter of each word. And just remember, I did say if we wanted the second letter, we can go with the second index, which would be 1. So we can actually log that out as well. Okay, and now we have the second letter. All right, but we don't want the second letter. The problem is to capitalize the first letter of each individual word in the array. So now that we have that, we have the first character. So now what we can do, now we need to actually get the second part of the actual word. So what's the remaining part? So let's say since we have that, let's say the second part of the word, which is second part of word equals, what is that going to equal? That's going to equal string to array. Now we do need another method here, and I'm not exactly sure which particular one it is at the moment. I think it might be slice. I think it's slice. I think it is slice. So let's slice, and we're going to slice what? We're going to slice at a starting number of 1. All right, so if we sliced at 0, I believe what we'll get is, let's see, well, actually, what does it say? The beginning index of a specified portion of the array. If start is undefined, then the slice begins at 0. All right, returns a copy of the section of the array. So sometimes these pop-ups are very, very helpful. So I want to slice at a starting number of 1. And the reason for that is similar to character at, we want the second part of the word. And what we could actually do is, I guess we could test that. Sometimes when you're not sure exactly which particular one to use, you could just test that. So let's see if we did do slice 0. Let's see what we would actually get. And let's console log that. Always good to kind of test. If we do console log, you'll use this pretty much all the time. All right, now let's see what we get with that. All right, so I logged that out, and it looks like I got basically the same thing here. But let's see. Yeah, I actually got the same. I got everything here. And that's because, again, we're starting at the beginning of each individual index. So let's see if I go 1, let's see what I get here. So remember our output. All right, we have all of the individual words. Now let's run this again. All right, and what do I have here? iterating through everything, but is there anything actually different in this? I don't really see anything different in this. Slice 1. Oh, wait a minute. We might be using this wrong here. So start is the individual number here, for example, with the param. All right, that's fine. Can I, oh wait, is it slice or maybe it's split? Maybe it's split. Let's see if I use, actually I used split already, and that was just everything in the actual array itself. But is this one? For some reason that doesn't seem, oh, okay, all right. I'm looking at that and I'm like, wait a minute, that does not seem to be right at all. Second part, string to array slice. Well, no, that is, oh, I don't have the actual index at all. I don't have the, I'm not iterating over anything there. All right, so good problem to see. You know, and that happens. You got to go through there. I'm sitting there just using the actual array itself by itself, but we need to iterate through each thing. So let's do that. And now let's run that. And now I do have the second part of the actual words here. All right. And yeah, you could pause the video and go back, edit, but it's good to kind of walk yourself through these things. And then before, the reason why we were getting everything with the 0 was because that is the actual starting point of each individual index. So if we ran that, then you get the actual individual words again. All right, so in this case, let's go back and add slice 1. All right, and then so we have the first character, we have the second part of the individual word itself. So now all we need to do is just add these together. Oh, but wait, we want to capitalize the first character. Correct. So let's capitalize the first letter and we'll just say to uppercase. All right, and then what we can do is, well, we want a new array with all of them capitalized, or we can actually just console log it out. We can do first character plus second part of the word, and that should give us our capitalization. So let's see what we get. And there you go. Look at that. So now we have logged out the first character. So we broke that particular piece down by getting the first character of each individual indexed word. And again, we are inside the loop. It is looping through everything in here. We did actually split it to become an array first. So usually when you're parsing through a number of different strings, you will more than likely need to turn that into an actual array. All right, so then we did use a couple of different methods here, and we have all the magic here. So this is nice. If we then wanted to put that back into a new array, let's actually create a new array. Let's say answer holder, okay, equals an empty array. And then instead of console logging that, well, we could log that, but instead of logging that, we can do answer holder dot push. And then we will push everything that we were actually logging out. And now, since that's outside of the actual loop, now we can actually just console log that new array, which is the answer holder. All right, and now let's just run that. And now we have our brand new array where everything is capitalized. So that's perfect. Very good, very good. All right, you know, so definitely good to knock out a quick video on some string manipulation. It's definitely an interview type question, and that's why we're doing that here. We'll add this to the playlist, and we'll have another video coming shortly. All right, everyone, enjoy. Mr. Stack out.